looking at okay.
Can they hear this?
All right, we're back. Right now, they can hear me. Everyone. I believe we are good now. I'm just fixing the
He's like in and out, right?
Oh, me?
Yeah, you.
All right, no, they said we're good. We're good. All right, so welcome back for the Week 5 edition of the C4 podcast. First, we're going to go over the agenda. We're joined by Dylan Ryman, co-host, and Dave Bridgedo, co-host, joined by special guest Steve Homza of the Whifflin Willies. We're going to go over the agenda real quick. We're going to do the Week 4 results, Player of the Week. We're going to go over the Week 5 matchups. We'll go over the captain's poll, and we'll do some Q&A with the guests. Welcome, fellas. How is everything going on today?
Hey, pretty good.
Pretty good.
That's what we like to hear. It's what we like to hear. Steve, how is it going for you?
Not bad. I'm really concerned. Dave, I'm wondering, how is your back?
It was pretty bad on Sunday, and Nick forced me to play softball because we only had 9 guys. So I caught a game, and I did get 2 hits, and I didn't run. But it's getting better, but it's not going to be completely healed till I get surgery. So, but for now, it's stable.
Okay, I can feel better now. Thanks.
Good.
Okay.
All right, so let's hop right in. We'll jump into the first series of the day. We'll jump into the C4 Aces and the Whifflin Willies. The Willies took this series 2-1 scoreline. We'll hop in right with the first game. We had the Willies dropping this one to the Aces 7-3. Home run by Bridgedo, 3-run home run, was the only 3 runs scored by the Willies that game. We had a home run by Doug and a 4 for 6 outing for myself. 3 of 6 for Doug with the home run, like I said. Connor Lucido went 2 of 6. As for the Willies, we had Homza 2 of 3, Neely 2 of 3, Bridgedo 1 of 3, like I said, with the big home run. Josh Quick didn't hit so well in this game. He went 0 of 3, and then Louie, doing Louie things, he went 1 of 3 as well, getting on base for the team. Steve did take the loss in this game. He threw 3 innings, 9 hits, 7 runs allowed. Steve is a pitch-to-hit hitter, and it's just sometimes you have those games. We'll shoot it over to Steve since you were on the mound this game. What was your take on this game 1 matchup?
I mean, I knew you guys were gonna go hit into it. Only having you, Doug, and Allison's brother there kind of did help me out a little bit, try and get through the order. But every 2/3 is facing you and Doug, who can hit pretty well. But like you said, I am pitch to contact. I personally pitch how I think people should pitch in the league, just lob the ball over the middle of the plate. But I mean, I'm trying not to walk people. I hate walks, so I mean, defense, I felt like 1 inning, we kind of didn't do well defensively. That led to a lot of those runs. But other than that, I mean, I'll take 7 runs against, that type of lineup.
Yeah, that's fair. Dave, over to you. Obviously going down 1-0 in the series. What was your mentality going into 2 and 3?
Well, I knew I had to make some lineup adjustments, obviously. Batting everybody is fine during the season, but if you want to win games, sometimes you have to take that down to 3 or 4 guys, and that's what we did the next 2 games. Louis didn't hit too well. Josh didn't hit too well the first game, so we kind of took some guys out of the lineup, and that's how we got to our next 2 wins.
That is fair. Dylan, to you, obviously this first game matchup, not a lot of people predicted this. A lot of people predicted Willie's overall sweeping and or winning the series, which they end up doing so. But you see the Aces jump out to a 1-0 series lead. What was your thought process when that happened?
Well, yeah. Really thought Willie's were going to take the entire series. And it's not as many runs as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be at least double digits, to be honest with you. But to hold the Willies to 3 runs, that's pretty impressive in game 1.
Yeah, they unfortunately didn't stay that way because obviously in the second game they put up 11 on me. But we'll move on to game 2. Like I said, that score was decided by 11-6 Willie's win. The Willie's bats woke up tremendously. Homza going 4 of 5 with a ribby. JJ Neely had a phenomenal game 2. 3 of 5. He had 8 RBIs, which is insane. Dave Rigido doing Dave Rigido things. 2 of 4 RBI, 2 walks, and Josh Quick 3 of 5 with a walk and a ribby to his line. Homza having a triple. You don't see a lot of those in the league. Neely having 2 home runs in the series, and Homza also adding a sacrifice fly. Josh Quick was on the mound in this matchup for the Willies. He went 3 strong, 10 hits allowed, so he did get hit around a little bit, but he did his job in keeping the Aces off the scoreboard. As far as the Aces hitters, myself went 5 of 6 with 2 RBIs. Doug went 3 of 6 with a home run, 3 RBIs, and Connor 2 of 5 with an RBI as well. Myself taking the loss. They just had my number. I mean, these hitters, they're 4 of the best hitters in the league. One hot. JJ had, like I said, had a breakout game. 3 of 5, 8 RBI. So him coming over the Willies was a great addition by Dave, because his bat is pivotal in that lineup behind Steve. Because I'll tell you from my standpoint, when facing this lineup, you see Steve Homza at the top of the lineup. You just have to work around him. Not giving up home runs to him is what you have to do. And surprisingly, I did that. Steve didn't have a home run all series, if I remember. JJ and Dave then pick up the slack of that. JJ, like I said, had home runs throughout the series. Dave had the crucial home run in game 1, and then tallied it on with another 2 of 4. And then Josh had a good hitting day. So, there's no one to really work around in this lineup. You kind of just got to take the outs, and the easy plays in the fields just, I feel like, weren't made by our team. We had a couple crucial errors, crucial fielding mistakes, but I'm okay with it. I'm okay with the series and how it turned out. Steve, we'll go to you. Game 2, you guys bounced back. What was the thought? How did you guys feel after seeing you guys put up the offense?
Second time around was facing the same pitcher. Obviously we're going to heat up at some point. So shout out to the guys behind me hitting. Dave put me to the leadoff spot this year. It's the first time I really hit leadoff in wiffle ball, so my job is to get on base. I'm not hitting for home runs this year. So when I got guys like JJ, Dave, Josh, and Robbie, even Louie finds a way to get on base. My job is just to get on base at the top of the order, and then when a guy's on base, then maybe I might elevate and try to celebrate.
Like that line. Dave, game 2, big bounce back from the boys. How'd you feel going into game 3?
Going into game 3, I knew that we were most likely going to take it, because I looked at Steve. I said, Steve, I think let's take the order down to 3 guys now, because I'm trying to mix match everything. And, Doug's a good pitcher, but going into game 3, I was pretty confident in everything. Hitting well, we were pitching pretty well. And I think Josh threw for his game 3. I can't really remember what I did, but
I knew he did, yes.
With him on the mound, I'm pretty confident.
It was a close game after 1 and 2. Yeah. You guys put up 5 in the top half of the first. The Aces answered with 6. Scoreless 2 from both sides, and then you guys just jumped out in the top of the third with 6. So you got your offense exploded in that last inning. Dylan, any touches on game 2 of this matchup?
Nothing really. You guys really touched on everything. JJ Neely, good for him. Finally shows up, gets 2 home runs. I'm happy he could be a key part to somebody's offense. So good for him.
He shows up.
We love that. You pair him with Steve and Josh. He's always there.
Evidently.
We'll jump into game 3. This game's a little bit closer. 8-3 scoreline in the favor of the Willies. Holmes, like Dave touched on, they did drop the line down to 3 hitters. We had Homza going 4 of 6 with an RBI. Nearly 2 of 5 with 2 RBIs. And Josh kind of had a breakout game 3. So it was Dave game 1 who had the hitting. Nearly game 2 with the hitting. And Josh broke out here in game 3, going 4 of 5 with 5 RBIs and a home run. Josh Quick doing it again on the mound. 3 innings pitched, 6 hits, 3 runs allowed. And then we turn it over to the Aces side. Myself, we kind of slew down after losing game 2. Momentum probably just came out of our sails. I went 2 of 5. Doug went 3 of 5, adding 2 home runs, and Connor 2 of 5 with a home run himself, and also an error in the field. Doug, like we said, on the mound, 3 innings pitched, 10 hits, 8 runs. So the Aces are just struggling finding that pitcher too. Myself as one, we're trying to mix and match with who's going to be our pitcher 2 going into playoffs, who's going to step up for us. So we gave Doug the shout this week because Bellis couldn't make it this week, and Ziabro also couldn't make it. So we gave Doug the nod in game 3. I liked what I saw out of him. He commanded this lower end of the zone pretty well. But when you're facing Steve Homza, JJ Neely, and Josh Quick every 3 batters, it's kind of tough to keep that lineup at bay. Homza, we'll move it over to you. We'll touch on Josh Quick. So Josh Quick, obviously rookie season. He's played in Core 4 prior, as far as tournaments. Josh Quick has suddenly became the ace of your staff, I'd say. So what are your thoughts on Josh's performance on the mound?
Josh has been rock solid. I like getting him a little bit pissed off because then he plays a little bit better. But I love to see him on the mound. I mean, it does help us out defensively. I can go out there and play the field with either JJ or Louie, and then when we have Robbie come, it helps us out tremendously. And he keeps the ball low, which is very successful in this league. And if he can find that command point, he's very very good. The times that he does get beat, it's either he's behind in the count or he just leaves one out there. But he's been really solid for us, and especially since we lacked pitching last year. I mean, it's no shocker here that he's coming out on top as our ace.
Yeah, I mean, Dave, obviously with your back and your statistics last year as a pitcher, adding Josh to the rotation, that's definitely got to take a lot of pressure off your shoulders, because now you have to make these managerial decisions on who you want to put on the mound. And Josh going out there throwing two big wins in the first series of the day before your guys' next matchup with the doubleheader. What is that? How does that help your confidence when choosing Josh to take the rubber?
Well, yeah, it's nice not pitching 2 games every day now, because last year it was basically just me and Steve most of the time, and I was on the mound and he was in the field. So it's nice having Josh, and I knew when I drafted him that this is his style of play. We see him in the BWBL, and he's a little wild, but now he's got that, like, I don't know what you want to call it, that one pitch that kind of goes on the outside but comes back into a righty. I don't know what you want to call that, Steve.
It's like a two.
What was that?
I'd say it's like a two-seamer.
It's like a very slow 2-seamer. It's very nice. But no, I'm always confident when he's on the mound. And then even when I have backup, like Steve could pitch, JJ could pitch, and I could pitch if I have to. So it's nice going to a few different guys this season compared to last season when we only had 2 of us.
No, that is a good point. Dylan, to wrap this series up, anything you want to touch on?
Yeah, to Dave's point, I mean, Willie's last year were a dangerous team, and all the additions they made this year have only made them more dangerous, and a team that when you're looking at your schedule, you always have your eye on them. So, yeah, that's all I have to say on them. They're a scary team. They're definitely going to go far in the playoffs. I'll tell you that right now.
See you this weekend, Dylan.
Yeah.
With that, we'll move on to the next matchup of the day, and it is going to be the Trash Pandas versus the Master Batters. Game 1, matching up with a 7-6 scoreline in favor of the Trash Pandas. Dewar making his Trash Panda debut. This game 1, they only had Duffy and Dewar available to hit. Both the Strakas came late. Dewar went 5 of 9, 2 RBIs. Duffy went 3 of 5 with 2 RBIs and a walk to his line. Straka did come late, and he did substitute in for Duffy and immediately sparked the offense. Went 3 of 3, 2 RBIs. Dewar adding a home run. Dewar on the mound for the Pandas. 3 innings pitched, 7 hits, 6 runs. So he did get beat up a little bit, but he was able to preserve it enough to get the win. Gerald Johnson on the mound for the Master Batters. 2 innings pitched, 11 hits, 7 earned runs. That's not usually something we see from Gerald, considering he was MVP candidate and has won 2 Pitcher of the Week awards for the Master Batters. Gerald Johnson, 1 of 2. My father, 3 of 4. So my father continues to stay hot at the plate. Julian, 2 of 5, and Sliker, 1 of 3. My father adding 2 doubles, Spraz adding a double, and Gerald adding a home run. We'll shoot it over to Steve. Game 1, I believe, were you guys playing at this point on field 2?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you didn't see much of obviously the game. So anything from looking over the score lines you guys want to add? Started with you, Steve.
Do it for MVP. Do it for MVP. Now that he's off Jagger's team, I'll say do it for MVP. But no, he provides. They're very, very good offensively, and bringing Dewar, who throws from a very weird angle and consistently hits the strike zone. Athletes on the field playing defensively. The Trash Pandas definitely got better in the past couple weeks, and yeah, that's all I really got to say. I mean, I wasn't sure if the Straka's were showing up this week, so I did go with the Master Batters because I did like their pitching, but it doesn't shock me, with all of them there, that the Pandas came out on top in this one.
Dave, over to you. 7-6 matchup. What do you have to add on this series?
Sorry, I thought I heard something. I'm just really happy that when we face the Pandas, we play them at the right time because Dewar was not on the team yet. Dewar makes them so much better, so much scarier. And I know we didn't get to the power rankings yet and everything, but I put them number 2 on my list because their whole lineup 1 through 4 or 5 or how many they have. It's dangerous, and yeah, Dewar on the mound, like that's big. He could be the MVP of the league. I don't know what his stats are like, but like Homza said, he's up there. It's a scary team.
Yeah, so my team was also lucky enough to face them prior to them adding Dewar, and we were able to take that series. So as of now, we do have the tiebreaker over the Pandas, which might play a factor when it comes down to week 5 when we're playing for seedings for playoffs. Dylan, over to you. Game 1, 7-6. Gerald got hit a little bit. What was your take on that, Gerald? 11 hits, 7 runs let up. That's not something really you see from Gerald. What were your thoughts on this game?
Well, I was actually over at Field 2 watching Willies versus Gargoyles, doing some scouting reports on them, but it's surprising. When we played Gerald, he had, I think it was 10 strikeouts facing us, something like that. He won Pitcher of the Week that week, so to see him get knocked around, that's very surprising. Dewar, obviously doing Dewar things. This breaks my heart a little bit because I'm going to say it right now. I had a chance to trade with Jagger for Dewar. The trade, he actually brought up to me Ryan Hart for Dewar, and I said no, but that was only because Ryan was at the time I just made a trade for Cassidy, and he was talking me up like, how good of a captain I was. So I would have felt like a dickhead immediately trading Ryan Hart away. So I said no, and looking back, I kind of regret it. I have to face Dewar a second time now, so I'm not gonna have a fun time with that. But yeah, Gerald getting hit around, that's very unusual for him in this format.
And this is kind of a series they needed to win because they've been
It would have helped.
They've been coasting pretty much all season, winning some series here and there. But they're on the verge of, like, if the Rats get hot, they could be that team, that 8th team looking in, and not making the playoffs, which we'll touch on just a bit when we look into Week 5. Let's go into Game 2. Pandas win this one a little bit more convincingly. 9-3 score. 12 hits from the Panda, only 4 from the Master Batters. Dewar, 4 of 6. Connor Straga and Andrew Straga were both implemented into the lineups. Connor going 2 of 5. Andrew going 4 of 5. 2 home runs for Andrew. Duffy, 2 of 5 from his line. Andrew Straga did pick up the win in this matchup. 3 innings pitched, 4 hits, 3 runs allowed. So holding the Master Batters to only 3 runs is kind of good positive sign from them because the Master Batters do have a decently good hitting. Gerald 0 of 3 strikeout. My father 1 of 3. Julian 1 of 3, and Sliker, the only positive note I'd say, 2 of 3 with a home run from Sliker. My father on the mound, 3 innings pitched, 12 hits, 9 runs let up, so he got hit around a lot. So I mean, it's just a downhill spiral effect for the batters from game 1 to game 2, just similar planes. Homza, over to you. Game 2, my father getting hit around a lot, something that's not expected again from this Master Batters, because I say that they are probably one of the better pitching teams in the league, but they had a down week. Anything you want to add on that?
No, I mean, it's like I just mentioned in the game 1, the Trash Pandas are going to be very good offensively. I mean, all of them just have, especially when you're playing slow pitch, you need a lot of bat speed, and their swings are all very, very fast. And I wasn't surprised. I mean, this is probably the first time your father's gotten hit all year. I mean, it could be because of the 4 weeks off, but I mean that this wasn't surprising to me after finding out and remembering that Dewar, sparks up this team a little bit.
Dave, Dylan, anything you guys want to add on game 2?
I don't really have much to add, but the big thing, Dewar, he changes the whole team. It's huge.
It's amazing what you can do when you have a group of guys that actually support you, and not a 15-year-old captain who's trying to trade anyone and everyone in a league that, when Dewar was your best player, it kind of just blows my mind. Dylan,
they were already. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was saying they were already a great team, but adding Dewar, they're greater.
Yeah,
much better.
They're definitely better now. Dylan, anything you want to add game 2 overall?
No, not much. I mean, going into the year, this wasn't a team that I think a lot of people had very high up on the rankings, and
Except
watching them
Nick.
week in week. Okay, except Nick.
Nick was the only one that was high on them coming into the season.
All right, fair enough. But yeah, watching them now, it's like I said, another scary team. It's something I'm not looking forward to. I think I play them this week. I have a doubleheader against them this weekend, so not looking forward to this.
Yeah, I think the only reason
Dragon.
I had them I think I had them 8th on my power rankings. Just because you have guys like I think there was like Sirota, that Jordan cassette tape or whatever his last name is. I don't something like that. Yeah, I mean, Andrew Straka was really good when he was on the Willies, and you figured his brother would probably just be as good as him, and I think he's honestly might be better. I don't know what the stats are, but his lefty swing is very nice, very quick too. And Duffy last year we saw him, so it's a really good team.
Yeah, we'll move into game 3. This game was much closer, although the Pandas had the edge in the hit column, 14-6 in hits. This game ended 6-5 on a walk-off single by Andrew Straka. Andrew moving into the leadoff spot, went 7 of 3 with an RBI. He did have 2 strikeouts, but I'll be honest, this game, on viewer perspective, the tensions were high, speeds were high. Officiating definitely could have been better on my part. I'll take full credit there. And it was high emotions. It was kind of one of those playoff atmospheres. You can probably see the tides turning for the Master Batters, knowing that their season's kind of on the line. We'll move on into the lineup, though, with the Pandas. 2 of 6 from Connor. Dewar had a breakout game, 6 of 6, 2 RBIs. And Duffy, 3 of 6, 2 RBIs himself. Andrew Straka took the bump originally, 3 innings pitched. This game did go into extra innings. 6 hits, 5 runs, 5 walks. Dewar then took the mound in extras, getting the win. 1 pitch, no hits, nothing. 3 up, 3 down. I think it was honestly on 5 pitches. So Dewar did his job getting the team back up to the plate in the bottom half. As far as the Master Batters go, we had Gerald, who was probably the only bright spot in this lineup. Gerald, 204, 4 RBIs. He had a home run. My father, 1 of 3. He did have 2 walks, so he did get on base for the others. Then Julian, 2 of 6, and Sliker, 1 of 4. So the bats definitely cooled down towards the later half of that lineup. Gerald Johnson again took the lineup, 4 innings pitched, 14 hits, 6 runs allowed, 3 strikeouts. So, I mean, Andrew Straka came up clutch in this game. Good job on Duffy for moving him into the leadoff spot, because if he wouldn't have done that, he probably wouldn't have been in the spot to walk the game off. So, good managerial decision by Duffy there. Anything you guys want to add on this series? Game 3, 3-0 sweep by the Pandas. Anything you guys want to add?
Not really. I think it's more of the same.
The only thing I'm going to add, and we haven't brought it up, is the master batters. I believe this is the first time they've gotten swept all year. And a coincidence that Houdini was not there. So, I mean, the impact that Houdini just has on this team, just him just being there. It doesn't matter if he gets out 7 innings in a row in extra innings. Just him being there, it seems to be a big impact to the master batters here.
He's a morale guy. He's like JR of the backyard bullies, some would say. Oh, and JR just said NJR wasn't on the team anymore, so they got swept. So,
Hey,
All right. Well,
the tides are turning. Oh,
JR's talking a lot lately.
we'll get to his series. We'll move on into your guys' second series of the day. We had the Gargoyles versus the Whiffle and Willies, and this one was not what we expected. I mean, it was high scoring in game 1 here. 11-10 final. JJ took the mound in this game, got hit up big. So we'll go into the stats in just a sec, but we'll shoot it over to you, Dave, for a quick question. What was the thought process in going JJ game 1, knowing Josh just had an incredible series the series before?
I think we underestimated them a lot. When Steve and I were talking, we said we really don't care what we do that series. It's just we'll sweep them. We're going to score enough runs that we could pitch. He's shaking his head. We underestimated them a lot. He's leaving.
He's gone.
Anyway, yeah, but I mean, Neely's a good pitcher in this league, and we've seen it before. And he just got lit up. They hit the ball, and it's a hit. It's a pitch to hit league, and that's what happened. They hit it very far too. They weren't cheap singles. They were long gone home run.
Yeah, so I've noticed that when doing the stats for games on field too, it definitely seems like the quality of hits are substantially higher. I just don't know if maybe it's the wins not playing a factor on field 2 as it does field 1, but the home run total on field 2 is definitely trumps field 1.
It seems shorter. I can't remember what Nick and I said the distance was because we did measure it all out, but it seemed shorter, but maybe it wasn't. I don't know, but it was definitely something that is the balls were flying out very, very quickly.
Yeah, we'll go into the stats. Willie's Homza 1 of 4, JJ nearly 2 of 4, Dave 1 of 1, did have 3 walks. So good job by the cap getting on base for Josh Quick, who had a decently big game. He had 3 hits, all 3 of them being home runs, and Louis Michaels 0 of 3, but he did have a walk. As for the Gargoyles, though, the bats were on fuego. We had Dan Flaherty, 5 of 6, 5 RBIs. He had 4 home runs. That has to, I wouldn't say that has to be a record, but that's got to be up there for most home runs in a game.
What was it again?
4. I feel like there's definitely been more. Julian has kept track of that, so I'll have to go in and double check that. Winters 4 of 6, Stu Kalady 4 of 5. So this is kind of a good game from Stu because Stu did struggle from the plate last time he played. And then Kotsko 1 of 5. And then Winters on the mound, 3 innings pitched, 7 hits, 10 runs. Did let up, but he did hold you guys to enough where they got the win. Any big scenarios happen in this game that you guys dropped this one, or is it just they just got hot?
They were hot, and we couldn't hit. Well, we did hit Winter, but unfortunately, it wasn't enough. They were just their bats were hot, and very hot.
This was the controversial game where Dave bat flipped into his face. I still don't understand how that happened.
Well, if you want me to walk you through it, I wanted to launch the bat high in the air, like very high, but unfortunately, it didn't go too high. It went into my face.
Oh, jeez. Dylan, obviously, as the non-person who didn't play in this game, anything you wanted to add in game 1?
I think it's just surprising the lack of, I mean, even though Josh Quick has 3 home runs and Dave had his home run, it's surprising the lack of offense by Steve. That's, what was it, 1 of 4 or four of?
Yes, 1 of 4, 1 of 4.
That's not something you see very often from him. He's so yeah. I think if I think if he picked it up a little bit, Willie's could have taken this one.
Yeah, it's not on Steve either. We lose as a team, but you're not gonna go 5 for 5 every game. It doesn't happen, or else the
Sure.
guy's batting 1,000. So
I agree. It's just a surprising stat to see.
yeah,
No offense intended at all.
I mean, no, that's okay. I told Dave after this one, I guess there goes my run at most improved.
Yes, yes, it's out the door.
Yeah, it's definitely out the door. As for this game, I mean, they came out hot. I mean, JJ's a great pitcher. JJ just throws pitches right down the middle. It looks like the field is shorter, but I think it has to do with the trees being in the background, and the wind was unbelievable. That there was balls that, if they were hit on field one, probably would have cleared the backstop of the softball field. It really was a boombox back there.
We'll move on into game 2. We have the Willies picking up the win in this one. It was a 9-3 win. Josh Quick back on the mound for the Willies, so it's a recipe for success for Dave to follow. 3 innings pitched, 5 hits, 3 runs let up. Gargoyles went with Dan Flaherty on the mound in this one. I feel like this probably has a decision because of Costco being hurt. But 3 innings pitched, 12 hits, 9 runs, not something you kind of want to see. The Willies offense did spark back up. This is a stat line you normally see from Steve Homza. 5 of 6, 5 RBIs. JJ had kind of a cooled off game. He only went 1 of 5. Josh Quick 3 of 4. Louie 1 of 3, and Dave providing the spark at the bottom, 2 of 2. Homza.
Well, I gave a pinch hit.
Oh yeah, you did. You're right.
Yeah.
Homza 2 home runs. He also added a double to his line. As far as the Gargoyles, though, Dan 2 of 4, 3 RBI, so he continued to stay hot. He had another 2 home run game. Winters 0 of 3, Stu 0 of 3, Costco 2 of 3. So that bottom of the lineup, other than Dan, didn't really produce. So the Bats woke up in game 2, guys. What do you have to add in this game 2 matchup here?
Yeah, our bats came alive, which is normal for us. And Josh, obviously, I think it was 9-4. You said
9-3.
9-3, and that's typical Josh stuff. About 3 runs a game. I think his ERA is
Roughly
under 3. Yeah, like something like that. So that's kind of what we thought would happen. It's just that was the Willie way that game.
Dylan, anything you want to add onto this one before I roast Dave going into game 3?
No, this is typical Willie's fashion. When you see them play, you expect these kind of numbers offensively, and everyone did their job. So props to them. They were able to take one from the Gargoyles.
All right, so let me go in on Dave here. Dave, let me break this down for you. Josh Quick goes 2-0 in the first series, wins game 1 of this series, and you pitch yourself in game 3.
So now listen, I don't regret this whatsoever. Want to know why? I gave up 3 runs in 2 2/3. What I do regret is not walking 2 batters to get to Costco to get out of it. Instead, I gave up 5 runs with 2 outs. I believe it was 2 outs. I could be wrong. But that's what I think it was. So I don't regret pitching myself. I did fine. But I do take blame for losing the series because I was not thinking while I was on the mound when I could have just easily walked the next guy to get to Costco, and then we would have been out of it. I was fine with myself pitching.
How do you not ride the hot hand, though? The guy that got you there. The horse that got you there.
I don't like teams seeing the same guy 2 games in a row.
But
sometimes
you did it. You did it against us, who was arguably
I said sometimes. Sometimes I do. It depends.
Bonehead.
No, it was wrong of me to not intentionally walk the guys that I didn't.
Yeah, but
It was wrong of me.
you got
I
punched.
pitched fine.
You got punched in the face game one. You lost the game convincing. Well, not convincingly. 11-10. Shocker. So you don't think you double up and throw your best pitcher in game 3 to win the series to solidify a series win?
I could have, but I didn't.
And that's the
No, it's not because I listen. You keep missing the point.
yeah, but you still ended whether you
Yeah.
went 2 2/3 or 3 innings pitched solid. You still let up 8 runs regardless.
No, I'm telling you, I had 3. I only gave up 3 and 2 2/3, and then I gave up the next 5 with like 2 outs left.
Yeah, I don't care how you gave up the 8. You gave up 8.
I know, but I'm saying if I made the right decision, if I intentionally walked the right guys, that would have never happened in the first place, and it would have been fine.
All right, let's dive into the numbers. Homza 2 of 4, JJ 2 of 4. Dave had a pretty good game hitting this game. 2 of 3, had 2 home runs and a walk. Josh 1 of 2, Louie 1 of 3. We move over to the Gargoyle side. Dan Flaherty, remember that name. 5 of 5, 3 home runs, 6 RBIs. Jonathan Winters 2 of 4 1 of 4 with 2 RBIs. Stu Clady 1 of 3, no RBIs, and Kotsko 1 of 4. So overall, what were your guys' take on the series? Obviously, you lost it, but any bright spots you want to go going into next week's matchups?
Well, the offense wasn't there that game. We only scored 5 runs total, and typically that's not always enough to win you games in the Core 4 League. So we got to do a little better than that, but I think we're going to put it behind us, and we're just looking forward to this weekend.
Dylan, Steve, anything you guys want to add?
Yeah, watching this game, I was actually there watching this game, scouting the Gargoyles because we had them up next. I'll tell you what, I was nervous the entire time watching them because Dan, he had 3 home runs, a winner with a home run. It kind of makes you a little nervous watching a team do really good against even better team, and you play them next. So hey, good for them stealing 2 games from the Willies.
Big games too, because they're on
big games.
They're on the cusp of also that 8th seed looking in and getting 2 wins against a team that has championship or bust mentality going into the playoffs. That's a good momentum boost going into the later half of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. These are games that matter now. So I think they're playing with a lot more oomph and drive, So we'll see what happens for the last 2 weeks of the year.
All right. Anything you want to add, Steve?
No, Dave pitched well. I do have to add in game 1, I did go in and pitch for Jay with like 2 outs in the second inning. That to add that. But no, I think Dave pitched well. It's just that I think it set a tone to the rest of the team that like, what are we doing here? Which I know I agreed that Dave should have pitched. Putting up only 5 runs in this format, I think I think the number should be 6. 2 runs an inning. If you can't get to 6, you're gonna need a really good pitching performance, which Dave had until the last out of the game. So we're looking forward to next week. I told my guys at the beginning of the year, if we go 2-1 every week, we make playoffs, and playoffs are all about who's hot and who's not. So we swept. We had 1 sweep this year, and us losing a series 2-1, it kind of evens out that every series we've gone 2-1. So looking forward to next week.
And the person to blame for you not pitching, having pitching stats, is John Kotsko. He took ownership of that in the chat here. So we'll get that fixed. We'll move on. We'll kind of speed through these last ones because we are running a little long. We have a pretty big series by the Gargoyles and off constantly. Game 1, we had the Gargoyles taking the win on a walk-off single by Dan Flaherty. 2-1. Dan 2 of 5. Winter 2 of 4. Stu Kalady 2 of 3. Winter getting
This is game 2.
Oh,
you're talking about. It is.
Oh, my bad. You are correct. Off constantly getting the win 4-0 in game 1. Sorry.
All good.
Kenny Kendrick on the mound for the off constantly continues to be a workhorse on the mound for them. Kenny Kendrick, 3 innings pitched, 3 hits allowed, no runs, 1 walk, 4 Ks. He held Dan Flaherty, probably the quietest Dan's been all day. Dan going 1 of 4, Winter 2 of 3, Stu going 0 of 2. So Stu is definitely hot and cold at this point in the season. And then Costco 0 of 3, 3 strikeouts, not something you want to see from the cap at the bottom there. Costco was on the mound, 3 innings pitched, 4 hits, 4 runs. So he kind of did his job. His offense just didn't help him out. You take 4 runs in a core 4-star any day of the week, I'd say. Dylan at the top of the lineup, 0 of 3, did have a walk. Kenny, 2 of 3. Mike Castellano, 2 of 2, 3 RBIs, had a home run. And Bob Ryman at the bottom of the lineup, 0 of 2, but did have a walk. So, Dylan, we'll start with you since this was your series. You jump out to a 1-0 series lead, 4-0, hold them scoreless. What was your thought process going into Game 2?
Going into Game 2, I wanted to give Kenny a rest. Game 3s for us is typically the time where I like to pitch Kenny again, just so he's able to get his energy back and prepare to take the lamp again and give the other team a different look. I don't want to pitch Kenny 2 games in a row and figure him out early on. So, he did a phenomenal job for us Game 1. Only allowing 1 walk. That's impressive for him. So, good job, Kenny.
We'll move into Game 2. Anything you guys want to add? Dave, Steve, Game 1, matchup, 4-0 finish.
Dan's the man. Oh, that was Game 2. Oh, shit. Is that when he had the walk-off single?
He is.
That is, yeah.
I was texting somebody. I'm sorry. I wasn't... All right. Well, I'm going to save that comment for when you ask me again in 2 minutes, all right?
Steve, anything you want to add on Game 1?
No, I'll wait for my comments till the end of the series.
All right. We'll move into Game 2. Like I already touched on a little bit, this was a walk-off single by Dan Flaherty. Dan going 2 of 5, having that big hit at the end of the game. Winters 2 of 4, and Stu 2 of 3. Kotsko did take himself out of this lineup, gave him a break. His arm, I believe, was hurting him at this point. Winter on the mound for the Gargoyles, 3 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 run, so I had a phenomenal outing on the bump. Dylan 1 of 3. Kenny cooled off 0 of 3. Mike 1 of 3. Bob 1 of 3. Bob took the mound in Game 2 here, so I was a little surprised by this, but he did his job. 3 innings pitched, 6 hits, 2 runs. So kudos to Dylan for making the right managerial decision. But I would have thought he would have went to himself in Game 2. Dylan, what was the thought process there?
I know my father has had a lot of success in slow pitch leagues, and especially BWBL. It's usually the first 2 innings he's had people's numbers. So I thought that coming out of his retirement, he'd go easy 1, 2, 3 innings, no problem. I maybe could have put myself in the last inning. We probably could have come away with a sweep. I don't know. But I overall, I think either way, it was the right decision to keep him.
All right, Dave, go ahead with your line.
Dan's the man. What else can I say? Bob, it was nice to see Bob Ryman come out of retirement.
He's back.
Well, now he's apparently retired again, I believe.
Until I tell him he's not.
Okay, so semi-retired, I guess. But no, his slider looked really good. He's a great slow pitch pitcher, decent hitter, I guess. But he's definitely a good. He's good to have on the mound, and Dylan made the right decision to go to him over himself.
We'll move on into Game 3, another nail-biting game. This was a close series, a kind of a playoff feel type series because both teams are down towards the end of the standings, but definitely were making the right steps and moving forward. Kenny on the bump again, 3 innings pitched, 7 hits, 2 runs, another 4 strikeout performance. So yes, that kind of seems like a low number, but when there's only 6 outs in a game, 4 out of the 6 outs being strikeouts is actually very fucking good. Winters, 3 innings pitched, 6 hits, 3 runs. He did have 3 walks, and a strikeout to his line. So again, that's numbers you want out of a pitcher. You can't be mad at a pitcher in a slow pitch league if you're only giving up 3 runs. So he did his part. Lineup kind of cooled off. Dan Flaherty, 4 of 4, so it definitely wasn't him that cooled off. Winters, 2 of 4. Stu, another 0 of 4 performance, 2 strikeouts. And then a 1 of 3 performance from Kotsko, also adding 2 strikeouts to his line. Dylan, 2 of 4. Kenny, 1 of 3. Mike Castellano, a big game out of him, 3 of 3 with another home run. So Mike continues to kind of be clutch. And then Bob Ryman, walk-off walk for the win. RBI, the GOAT. Dylan, touch on this series. We'll wrap it up, and then we'll move on to the final series of the day.
Again, Kane looked great on the mound. It looked great through 2. Third inning, kind of started to make me nervous a little bit, but I have faith in him, and he was able to work his way out of it. So
he did get hit around a lot, but he was able to keep the run total down. So I mean, that's good on his end. Dave, Steve, anything you guys want to touch on before we wrap up with this series?
Bob's the GOAT. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. It's just how it goes. There's something in that Ryman blood that makes me happy.
All right.
weird. Okay. No comment on that. That's just weird.
Steve, anything you want to add? Oh, he went away, so I don't know if he's no longer.
Oh, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here. I mean, I was kind of shocked by the outcome, finding out afterwards that the Gargoyles dropped 2. Talking to Kotsko before our series, I was like, I made a deal that I would pitch lefty if he pitched, and he said that he was saving his arm for OC. So I said, okay. And then considering that they took 2 out of 3 out of us, I don't know if they were complacent going into that, because them only putting up, I don't even know how many runs they put up, 5 in 3 games after they scored 5 every inning against us. I mean, I don't know whether it was a difference in the field or them got complacent, but I was really shocked by their offensive performance and the difference of 2 series.
No, that is a good point. It's definitely got to be that field 2 to field 1 transition. I don't know. We'll have to continue to study on that coming into this week. We'll move on to the final series of the day. This one wasn't even close. Well, I guess it actually was close, but the game totals weren't close. 3-0 sweep by the Bullies. Game 1 was a 5-4 finish with, I believe this was the game. No, this was not the game in question. Brett Kalady, 3 of 4, 5 RBI, so he came out big for the Bullies in Game 1. Teddy, 1 of 3. Jagger, 1 of 3. JR Cadet, Bullies debut, 2 out of 3. Also had a K to his line, but we don't give a shit. He doubled his season total in 1 game. Round of applause. Attaboy, Dave. Attaboy. Thank you. We'll move over to the Rat side. They hit well. They just, I don't know what, I wasn't able to watch this series, so I'm not exactly what happened. 3 of 6 from Nick, 2 of 4 from Mike, and 2 of 5 from A-Rod. So, I mean, I guess the Bullies just hit more. Jagger getting the win on the mound, 3 innings pitched, 7 hits, 4 runs, 1 walk, 2 Ks. He beat Nick on the mound. Nick getting the loss in this one, 3 innings pitched, 7 hits, 5 runs, 2 Ks. Anything you guys want to add, Game 1?
The Rats suck.
The Rats. I mean, this is kind of a series you want, where Brett Rooney comes in and plays, but for some reason he wasn't available this week. You kind of need Rooney in these big games, but
it's hunting.
Yeah. We'll move over to Game 2. Backyard Bullies take another tight one. So all the games were actually relatively close. Just the Bullies, I guess, were more clutch with their opportunities. Bullies winning this one 2-1. Brett Kalady, 3 of 4, stayed hot. Home run. Teddy, 1 of 4. Jagger, 1 of 4. 3 strikeouts from Jagger. So Jagger continues to struggle at the plate. And JR, 1 of 3 again. He's already has a better average than his captain. Teddy Krause on the mound, 3 innings pitched, 5 hits, 1 run. So this is kind of what we expect to see from Teddy. Teddy is now back after having extended baseball. throughout the fall. So him now being on the mound is probably going to be something we see more of, which I think makes the Bullies a different type of team. Then we have Nick Pugh, 3 of 4. And then Mike Simon and both A-Rod went 1 of 4. Definitely both cooled off in this one. Again, seems to be where Nick Pugh continues to backpack this team, but it's just going to catch up with them in the end. Mike Simon making his season debut, 3 innings pitched, 6 hits, 2 runs. Kind of decent with the bat. He did have a good outing on the mound in Game 2. There was some controversy in this game after a captain's vote. It was deemed that what happened was not against the rules. I don't know if everyone else has heard about it, but there was an instance where Teddy went righty for 2 pitches and then finished the at-bat lefty. Nick tried appealing it. Council voted against his favor. So the series stays as stands. Anything you want to add in Game 2, or Dave or Dylan? Anything you want to add on that appeal out of Nick?
I'm not really sure what Nick's complaining about there. I've done it last season multiple times. I did it this past weekend, at least 5, 6, 7 times. I mean, I got caught to go out pitching lefty, and I switched during the at bat, so I don't really. It was always allowed. I don't really get the controversy, but maybe he's just mad he lost. I get it, but you said it was 2-1 to score the final.
2-1, yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised by that score line. You know, you'd think, I mean, any core 4 game, there should not be scores that small. But no, Mike pitched good and Teddy pitched good, so it was a good low scoring game.
Dylan, Steve, anything you guys want to add?
All I'll say really is, after trading away Sliker, the Rats still look the same. This team, you expected them to like heat up a little bit after making a trade like that, and you have Mike Simon, who, first of all, doesn't make sense to me that Nick traded up to get Mike, and he's not really playing, from what I've seen, like a
number 2 overall pick.
Right, yeah. I was watching Game 1 a little bit at home, and he had a pop-up just fall through his hands, and that's something that you expect Sliker to do. So it's more of the same for the Rats. It's not looking good for them.
I mean, they're 3-9. I mean, they still have to play us.
Well,
yeah, they have to play you, the Pandas, and I want to say I pull it up, but the schedule's not in their favor at all.
They already had an easy schedule to begin the year.
It's the batters that they have to play.
Yeah, so it's definitely
Okay.
not in their favor.
They had maybe one of the easiest schedules to start off, and they're 3-9 in last place, and it's not looking good. I mean, Nick keeps saying we'll be fine, but every week that keeps going by, it looks worse. So I don't know.
We'll move on to Game 3, the big game. J.R. Cadat, walk-off walk. He just continues to be him.
Woo!
The missing Kalady, as he said.
Missing Kalady.
The most crazy line I've ever heard. 2 of 3 from Brett, hitting 3 RBIs. Teddy 3 of 4. Jagger 2 of 4, so he hit better this game. And then J.R. Cadat 2 of 3 with an RBI, being the walk-off by J.R. Cadat. Teddy on the mound again in this one. 3 innings pitched, 7 hits, 5 runs let up. So Teddy jumping out to a 2-0 start to his season on the mound. Nick 3 of 5. Mike 2 of 6. And A-Rod 2 of 5. Home run by Mike Simon. Mike on the... go ahead.
Is that correct? JR has a double?
Indeed, he did have a double.
You mean to tell me that freight train made it from home to second?
In a play.
Maybe Jagger was fielding.
Oh, okay.
Kochko says yes, can confirm.
That is bonkers.
Mike Simon on the bump for the Rats in this one. 3 innings pitched. Did not have a better outing. 9 hits, 6 runs, 2 walks, 1 K. So I mean, I feel like we've been saying it for weeks now, but if you're the Rats, you're like hammering the like oh shit button. Like your
They're
schedule,
calm.
your
They're very calm right now.
your schedule is against you. Um, Having the batters, Pandas and Willies left. Like there's a very good possibility they don't make the playoffs, and that's kind of insane to see considering they are the reigning champions of last year.
They're
I
the
mean,
2013 San Francisco Giants.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, although, I'm
no,
sorry,
go ahead. No, go ahead. You're good.
Just say, although they are, very close friends of mine, I still prey on their downfall, like they preyed on my downfall. It's just the friendly fire we have with each other. So it's, I think it's time to start worrying, but they seem pretty composed. But so I guess we'll see in the upcoming
Absolutely,
couple.
it's time to start worrying. I
But
mean,
they don't seem like they are worrying though.
well, they should be. They have 2 weeks left, 3 games. It's not good for them.
Or they're just really good at hiding it.
E-
I don't know.
even if they sweep the Master Batters, which I don't think they will, they're still almost they're 3.5 games back of that 7th spot because they're 3-6. The next, I'm sorry, they're 2 games back. They're 3-6, 3-9, and the next closest team is 5-7. So they're gonna need to win games, and then they're gonna need help on top of them winning games.
When they played us in the summer classic, I guess you would call it. They played a really good game against us. I believe it was 15-14 was the final, something like that. Which I didn't expect. We went up by at least we were up
8 at least.
10 maybe. We were up by a lot, and they just stormed right back. So it's like they do have a lot of fight in them. They don't give up. So once you count them out, they're just going to come right back in the game.
Any last remarks, Steve? Over to you before we hop into the awards for this week.
Yeah, another shocker. A couple comments. River Rats, I guess, are still championship hungover. And Dylan kind of killed my punchline. Like, not only am I'm very shocked with J.R. Kadot's performance. I'm shocked by the walk-off walk. I'm shocked that he's second on the team in batting average, on base percentage. But what was most shocking was the double. Like, it's unbelievable. Me and Dave been hyping him up all year. I mean, this is what we needed. He needs to get hot. He needs to go off. And this is exactly what the Bullies need. They need JR. This is it.
You're not wrong. He brings the morale up. I think I was playing at the time and he just screams over, "Yeah!" I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah, we were playing each other and he was screaming from very far distance away, and I was like, what is going on? Like, is he actually playing good? But yeah, good for him. I'm happy. I've been hyping him up. Me and Steve have been his hype man this year, and we're happy to see it.
Well, I personally though, I still want to have gone back to the Bullies. I'm still not happy with Jagger what he did to you, JR. It wasn't right, and for you to come back willingly to play for them, it blows my mind.
He wants to play. He's a team player.
I get he wants to play, but if it was me, I'm fucking heading for the hills, and the hell with that team. You should have went somewhere else.
You would be on a team then.
Go home and practice. I don't know.
We'll move over to the players of the week. We'll start off with the hitter. I think I saw Dirty Socks allude to it earlier in the chat. We have hitter of the week, Dan Flaherty of the Gargoyles Wiffle Ball Club. Dan went 19 of 27 in 6 games played this weekend for a 7.04 average. He mashed 9 home runs, putting him directly into the running for home run leader with a season total of 13. He added 18 RBIs this weekend and also scoring a total of 13 runs himself. So a freaking insane outing out of Dan. Like I said, puts him only one behind Nick Pugh. Nick has 14. He's tied now with Doug for 13 in second place. Definitely put his name into the running for the home run award at the end of the season. Steve, Dave, Dylan, anything you guys saw out of Dan this weekend that you guys want to touch on?
Dan's the man.
Dan's the man.
I don't know what else to say. Hey, he is. I mean, when I was pitching against him, again, I should have walked him, but he was really hot, and those balls were flying out very quickly. He's a very good hitter in this league.
I hate Dan because he's from Swearsville, but I love his swing. And he can thank us for this because all we did was just give him great pitches to hit, and he just mashed. It was a great sight to see. I mean, it wasn't so much because I was on the opposite side, but it was like wow, that was awesome. Like every single time he was up the bat. So congrats, Dan.
Dylan, anything you want to add for Dan Flaherty?
No, I don't think so. He smashed the ball all weekend, so congratulations, Dan. Keep that bat hot.
With that, we'll move over to Pitcher of the Week with Dave Brigito making the announcement.
Yes, so the pitcher of the week is none other but the ace of the Willies, Josh Quick. He went 3-0 on the weekend. He accounted for all 3 of our wins, and some will say he should have pitched him a 4th game and he could have went 4-0 and accounted for 4 of the wins, but I still disagree with that. But he went 9 innings pitched strong, 4 strikeouts, and he walked 0 this week, which is impressive because in weeks past he walked a good amount, more than someone should. And now I think he's could be a candidate for the Cy Young. He's up there. Smalls, what do you think about that?
No, I 100% agree. Hence why I put that in writing. I said Josh brings his season.
I was reading off what you told me.
Josh brings his season win-loss record to 5-1, second place behind myself for the most, putting himself, like I said, at the forefront of the Cy Young candidates. His ERA is good. His stuff's good. His two-seam, I guess we would call it, is pretty tough to read because you think it's going to be an outside pitch and it just tails back for about like an inch and nicks the corner every time. He's long, lanky, so his delivery's tough to kind of read out of his hand. So I think Josh, he's what the Willies needed, and that's probably, as of now, I'd say the best draft pick they'd have going into the season. Obviously, you picked him, 5th overall, 4th overall?
I was 7th, my first pick, yeah.
7, so yeah, amazing. So
yeah.
Good out of you, Dave. We'll move it over to Steve. Anything you want to add? Because I know Dylan has some stuff to say.
I'm itching.
Shout out Josh, and shout out Dave for not pitching him in Game 4 because it could have been a loss, and he could have went 3-1, and he could have got pitcher of the week.
Half glass full.
So shout out Josh.
Dylan, over to you. Josh Quick winning the award. I know you're a little heated at this decision.
I just, maybe I'm very biased because I'm the captain of Kenny, but Kenny had, I think it was 8 strikeouts on the day, and what was it, 1 walk, I think, and he doesn't get pitcher of the week. I think that's a complete snub. He deserved it. So congrats to Josh, I guess, but I don't think it's deserved.
That is fair. That is for people to decide. We'll move over finally to the fielder of the week. We have Dylan Ryman making the announcement on this one.
Yeah, so it's none other than last place teammate, or last place captain, excuse me, Nick Pugh. Nick went 10 for 10 in the field. In Game 3, he had a double play to help steal important outs from opponent bullies' offense. Not much more to say on Nick than that. Congratulations, Nick.
Yeah, there wasn't much. There wasn't really anyone flashy this week in the field. Doug was flashy, but Doug had an error, so we know the stat is kind of decided off of who goes perfect in the week. So that unfortunately took away from Doug's nominee. No one else really had like a high stat padding kind of day as far as fielding. So Nick, obviously having the most attempts, clean fielding percentage, with the double play, gets him the award for Week 4 Fielder of the Week.
Good job, Nick.
We'll move on to the Week 5 matchups, starting with the Bullies and the Gargoyles. So Gargoyles sitting at 6-9 in the season. They have a few games ahead of the last place Rats. Bullies finally getting a big sweep over the Rats last week, moving their win-loss record to 7-5. Steve, we'll go to you first. What do you expect out of this series going into this weekend?
It's very hard for me to predict, considering I did see two different Gargoyles teams this past weekend. But I'm going to have to give the edge to the Gargoyles here. I believe their offense is just a tad bit better. I think the series is going to rely on the bottom half of the Bullies lineup, meaning JR. I mean, if JR gets on base for that top of the order, they got a good chance of winning the series. But right now, I'm going to have to give the edge to the Gargoyles.
Over to you, Dylan. Anything you want to add on this series?
I'm curious actually. Is this on is this on field 1 or 2?
I can get that answer for you.
Thank you. That's kind of big right there. Gargoyles on field 2. I'm slamming the Gargoyles button there.
Absolutely.
Gargoyles
It's on
Bullies
game 1?
is on field 1. There is no other field on at that time. There is no field 2.
Okay. So yeah, I'm giving it to the Bullies then. I don't want the Bullies to win because I'm still pissed off with Jagger. That's nothing at all. No offense to J.R. Cadet. I hope you ball out that weekend, but I think the Bullies are going to take it 2-1.
And then over to you, Dave. Backyard Bullies, Gargoyles. Who do you got in this matchup?
Man, it's tough because, like Steve said, we saw two gargoyle teams this week. We saw one series where they were hitting all homers, and then the next series they scored 2 runs combined. So, but now that I think we're back on field 1, I think I'm gonna have to go Bullies 2-1.
That is a good point, and there is something that I want to point out. We are now past pretty much the halfway point in the season where if players have not shown up this yet, they will not be eligible for playoffs without a playoff exemption vote. So with George Mosier not showing up for any games this season so far, Kotsko will need him to be voted in by the captains for him to make playoffs. Kotsko, any insight with you being in the chat? Do we know if Dan is going to be making it this week?
If Dan doesn't make it,
or George, I'm sorry, did I say Dan?
Oh, full in. What's full in? He's there.
Full ins, which means he probably will have a full roster. Which, in my standpoint,
okay.
I'm going to most likely. Oh, George won't be.
Oh,
in.
sure.
Okay. So then I'm taking Bullies. I don't think they have pitching. I think it's going to be 3-0 Bullies, in my opinion. Yeah.
I don't know. I think Gargoyles can sneak one.
They could, but
it's going to be
Kotsko not healthy, can't have that backdoor slider as effective. We have, or backdoor curveball. I'm sorry.
Yes.
And then Winters was hot and cold on the mound, so we don't know what we're going to see out of him. One series he pitched phenomenal. One series he got hit pretty hard. So I personally think that the Gargoyles or the Bullies with Teddy now back pitching full force, I think it's going to be too much for the Gargoyles to handle.
That's fair.
We'll move on to the second series of the day. We have the Trash Pandas versus the Rats, and the Rats are playing for their postseason lives. Dave, we'll go over to you first. Rats, Pandas, who do you got, and why do you got it?
This is a very easy sweep for the Pandas. I don't know if the Strakas are coming. Andrew this year he was a little spotty on the attendance, but this year he seems like he's doing pretty good with that. And if Andrew's there, well then Connor's there. So, as long as those two are there, I think it's an easy sweep. They don't stand a chance against them.
That is a valid point. The Pandas continue to stay hot since adding Dewar. Rats obviously are the other way around. Homza, to you, Pandas, Rats, who do you got?
I have to agree with Dave, but Yeah, I'll have to go Pandas here. The fact that Joey Dewar played extremely well for them and they got the sweep means that Joey Dewar is going to show up for them the rest of the year. If results went different, I wouldn't know about it. But yeah, I'm gonna have to go Pandas here. I haven't seen anything from the Rats, and hopefully Mike Simon can heat up a little bit. But I'm gonna go Pandas all the way here.
Dylan, to you, Rats, Pandas, who do you got?
Yeah, I agree with these guys. It's going to be Pandas all the way. The Rats, they look no different. They've made the moves to try and elevate their game, and it's just more of the same. So,
I want
Pandas 3-0.
I want to say that the Rats have the doubleheader this week, which we'll touch on their second game in just a sec here. Yeah, they face Master Batters. They need to win some games here, or they could be mathematically eliminated from the playoffs if the Gargoyles pull out some games and Off constantly pulls out some games from either the Pandas or the Willies. So the what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of the word, but the Pandas or the Rats are not in a good spot right now, and it will tell this week. This week they need at least 4 wins, I'd say, for them to get back in a playoff spot, or even back in contention going into the final week of the season, where they face the Willies in a rematch of last year's championship. So that's going to be probably a storyline we can touch on in just a bit. But with that, we'll move over to the Aces and Master Batters. And I'll give some inside information from what I've heard. I'm heard that they will be without Julian. I heard that they will be without Gerald. And I heard that they will be without my father.
That's okay, because you want to know something you don't know?
Is Houdini going to be there?
Well, no. You
Okay.
want to know something else that you don't know?
Okay, go ahead.
They do have a third fielder, so no worries.
Dave Brigido, he's got him.
We're heating up.
He's bringing the good vibes from the Willies over the Master Batters.
Well, no, I texted Sliker when you said it to me, and he didn't text me back yet. So, but maybe if I'm there, I'll help him out.
He just looked at his phone. He's like, "Oh, Jesus Christ!"
Yeah, he's probably like, I don't know.
So obviously, I won't touch on too much of this series. We'll go over to Homza first. What do you have in this matchup?
I got Rats. Got them to sweep. I mean, like I said, no Houdini, no Master Batters. I mean, it doesn't even matter if all of them were there except Houdini. Houdini needs to be there. It's it's in the pudding right there. That the only week that he wasn't there, they get swept. So I'm gonna keep it the same way. Let's go here. Rats take 3-0. Or no, not Rats. Sorry, Ace. Sorry.
You're good. You're good. Dave, over to you.
I'm sorry. Who are we
Aces,
talking about again?
Aces Master Batters.
Aces Master Batters. Okay. Well, Smalls. I mean, who do you have coming for you?
To my knowledge, will have a full roster. Siabro, Allison's brother, I don't think will be there. But Doug and Bellis should be there as well. So
Your full roster of 3 is what you meant.
4. Bellis.
Oh,
Ziabro.
Okay. I forgot Ziabro was even on the team. Yeah. I'll take an Aces sweep there.
And Dylan, to you, anything you want to touch on?
Yeah, I think it's Aces all the way. You guys have been playing really good this year. So yeah, it's no doubt Aces.
Yeah, definitely a bounce back series. Obviously after dropping to the Willies last week, so bounce back. Our schedule definitely gets significantly easier as the season goes on. We face Master Batters this week, and then we wrap up with Off Constantly and Gargoyles to round out the season.
Thanks for that.
I'm sorry. All love. We'll move on to the Master Batters and the Rats. Homza tipped his cap here a little bit. I feel like he's going to lean in the way of the Rats, but Homza take it away.
I mean, no Houdini. I mean, this is. I'll give him a game. All right, I'll go Rats 2-1. But the no Houdini factor is really killing me here. Like
Well, wait, if there's no Houdini, then they don't have a team.
Apparently, my father will be there, but from what I've heard, he shouldn't be there. So I don't know.
What?
I'll give the Rats
He
2-1
he
here.
shouldn't be. Smalls.
What's that?
He should or he shouldn't be there.
He will be there, apparently, is what he's saying in the chat. But to my knowledge, I thought he wasn't going to be making it.
Oh. Okay. I got you. So it's Alex and Biggs basically.
And Houdini if he shows.
All right. Well, if Gerald's not there, then Houdini's not showing.
That's a valid point.
Yeah. Am I up?
You are. Go ahead. Take it away. Who do you want?
Okay. All right. Yeah. Perfect. Well, it's they're missing a lot of guys on their roster. They're missing Houdini. Obviously, that's he's kind of like the Hall of Fame core 4 player that you want on your team. So you take Houdini out of the equation, things just don't go right. But you do add a Gold Glove fielder in me if I play the field for them, so that boosts you up a little bit. However, I think the Rats might come alive a little bit this series, and I'll also go 2-1.
I'm pretty sure Rooney has to show up this week in order for him to make playoffs without being voted in. I think he's at 6 games played. So he has to make this week or one series this week. Like if he has to
I think he's at 5.
5? Okay, so he has to show up for at least part of this week and next week, or he's got to show up. He's got to show up a part of this week in order for him to make it, because he only has 3 games next week. So, without forcing a vote, he needs to play this week. So I don't know if he'll show up this week or not. My guess is he will, but
I don't think he is. I think Hunting is still in strong right now. I don't think he'll be there.
If he didn't catch anything yet, then he won't be there.
I didn't see.
Dylan, over to you for this matchup.
I think the Rats are going to take it. I'm not too sure how many games, to be honest. But I don't think that having the little number of guys that the batters have will be able to sustain a sweep over the Rats. So, give me Rats 2-1.
Yeah, I'm gonna piggyback off you. I think the Rats will bounce back in this series, and then hopefully they ride the momentum going into next week. But I just don't see it. I just don't think.
Hopefully.
I don't think the batters have the pitching to keep up with the Rats' offense. So we'll see on how that turns out. We'll move over to the almost the last series of the day. We have the 5th series of the day. We have 6 this week. Trash Pandas versus Off Constantly. Homza, we'll take it to you first. Who do you got and why do you got them?
I'm not going to comment, actually. I don't want to give some type of inspiration or get Dylan's team some type of motivation.
Ouch.
So I'm not going to comment. I don't want to say that you'll win and then or something, or I don't want to say you lose and then you take it out on me on Saturday. So you'll see my comment on Facebook. But Joey Dewar for MVP. So that's all I gotta say.
Wow. That's
Dave,
all you have to say, I suppose.
Dave, over to you. Who do you got?
Yeah, unlike Steve, I like to talk a lot. I like to run my mouth. Steve's a little more humble than I am, but I think this series the Pandas are getting let out of the zoo. It's over for Off Constantly. They're gonna eat them like bamboo and spit them out.
That's a panda. Okay. They're raccoons. They're not actual.
Panda. They eat the bamboo.
Trash pandas are raccoons, you dope.
Oh.
He's an idiot.
Well, it doesn't matter. Then they're gonna eat you guys like trash and spit you out. Then whatever, you know it.
Oh, you know what? That sounds even worse. So we're bamboo.
Dylan, over to you. Going into this matchup, what do you think going in?
It's going to be a long day for us. We have 2 of the best teams in the league that we're facing. I've been doing a lot of scouting, watching the games back, trying to find some sort of weakness that we can exploit. Um, I I want to say we're gonna win the whole goddamn thing, but I'm a realistic person. Um,
You're also not a
I,
liar.
I'm not a liar. No, I think we can at least take one game from the Pandas.
Yeah, I mean, if you're off constantly, I feel like you have to go into this week happy with 2 wins, because 2 wins puts you over a margin again over the Rats, because the Rats you got to think are going to go 2-1, 3-0 against the Batters, and then struggle against the Pandas. So if you can win 2 games as off constantly, you kind of put yourself in a better spot going into the final week of the season for making playoffs. Obviously, that's not what you want to happen. Obviously, you want to win more games, but if you steal 2 out of this weekend against 2 of the top 2 teams, I feel like you're sitting pretty. We'll move over to the final series of the day. We have Willies versus OC. Willies obviously having a big week coming off a 2-1 win. Obviously, all 3 members of this group are playing in this series, so I don't know if they want to touch much on this. But I'm pretty sure Willies have a chance to. Well, no, they have a chance to broaden their chances of winning the 1 seed going into the final week of the season. So hopefully that obviously happens for them, their sake, if they want the 1 seed and only play on Sunday. Dylan, Dave, since you guys are the captains of this team, what do you guys have going into this season? Or into this matchup, I'm sorry.
Dylan, would you like to start?
Well, again, like I just got done saying about the Trash Pandas, Willies, they're a tough team. They have a lot of bat power, a lot of plate discipline. It's like I said, it's not going to be a fun afternoon. Again, if we can take one game away from the Willies, then I'll be happy.
And I'll be hanging from the Market Street Bridge.
Well, then we'll aim for that.
Respectfully.
Respectfully, of course. Yeah, no. Yeah, again, fuck it. Off constantly's win the whole goddamn thing. After what the Gargoyles did to Whifflin Willies last Saturday, we're going to come in and we're going to kick their wiffle ball asses.
Oh, okay.
We love it. Clip it, and ship it.
Well, I was going to be nice, but after that, I don't think I could be. What Dylan didn't realize when he made that bold prediction is that he doesn't have Dan, Winter, and Stu on his team. So, unfortunately,
They weren't on. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Go ahead.
Yeah. So just like what Willies do, we're gonna heat up. We're gonna eat you guys like bamboo, and we're gonna spit you out. It's time to heat up. If we don't heat up now, then we'll have to move on to next season, because we can't win this. If we can't sweep this series, then I'm very, very upset with my boys. And I know Steve feels the same way. It has to be a sweep. There's no other. It can't be 2-1. It has to be a sweep. Heat up.
To that point, real quick, just look at that wiffle ball, stupid, ugly face looking thing. It's
I paid
cute.
$3 for it.
$3. Cute things do not win against fucking roosters. Okay, we're going to come in. We're going to come in.
$3 for that logo.
Well, you paid too much. Okay, you paid too much. We're going to kick your fucking ass.
Yeah. And by the way, I'm ready for Steve to yell at me after this podcast.
Oh, and yeah, Kenny is getting pitcher of the week this week. I it's coming on strong. He's salty from not getting it this past weekend. He's going to get it tomorrow, or not tomorrow, Saturday.
That won't happen.
Oh, nice.
Homza, anything you want to add on this matchup?
Yes. Wasn't going to talk. Dylan got me fired up. But they did take 1 from us last year in the playoffs. It was a little rude awakening that day, a very, very long day. But they did take 1 from us. Just want 2-1 this week. That's all I want. Win a series and we move on. Dave wants a sweep, but I just want to win a series. I want to keep it rolling. 2-1 every week, every single series. You can't lose if you do that. So that's what I want.
Yeah, and I know Steve wants just to go 2-1, but I think we're at the point now. If we want the 1 seed, we have to win out. So that's my mentality. But
I actually did the math, and in order for you guys, yeah, in order for
we
you
have to
guys
win out,
to,
and the Pandas have to lose one.
that's right. Yep.
I already
That's
did it too. I was looking at it. Yeah.
Okay.
And with that, we'll move on over to the week 4 captain's poll. With that, we have the Willies sitting at first place. They don't leave that spot. Last week they were first place, so they don't drop down or go up anything. They did receive 3 first place votes,
That went down.
sitting at a record of 10-5. Yes, last week you had 6. This week only 3. With that, we have second place, the Trash Pandas, moving up 1 spot. Last week they were third. They did receive 2 first place votes and are sitting at 8-4. Third, we have the Aces, who did drop down 1 spot. Last week they were ranked second. They did receive a first place vote, and no, it wasn't me. I swear on the Bible. Fourth, we have the Bullies, moving up from 3 spots from 7th. So they are sitting now back at 7-5, moving up 3 spots, like I said. Gargoyles Wiffle Ball Club last week were ranked 6th. They moved up 1 spot to 5. Did receive a first place vote and are sitting at 6-9 record. Master Batters last week were ranked 4th. They dropped down to 6th, dropping down 2 spots. 1 first place vote, sitting at a 5-7 record. And then finally, Off Constantly at 7, moving up 1 spot from 8th, sitting at 5-7. And then bottom of the barrel, we have the River Rats sitting at 3-9, dropping 3 spots from last week's 5th place ranking. Steve, to you, anything that surprises you with these rankings going into week 5?
Yeah, I hate captains, especially Dave, that vote for themselves as the first place. I believe the captain's poll should just be take your team out of the equation, rank them 1 through 7, and then do it. But I do agree with it. The only one I do say the top. I think the top 3 are right. 4 through 8 can be a little mixed, but I also look at these as if everyone's there, who's the best team. And I would agree with the top 3 and probably the top 4, and then 5 through 8. I mean, once we get to playoffs, every single playoff game is going to be a bloodbath if everyone is there.
Agree. Dave, over to you. 1 through 8. Any surprises for you?
No, I agree with the top 3 also. To go off what Steve said, I only vote the Willies first because I believe that we're the best team, and if we weren't, then I wouldn't put us first. So that's the only reason I do that. But besides that, I agree also that 4 and 8's a mix. I mean, who was 8 again?
The Rats.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Then 4 through 7's a mix because I also had the Rats at 8. I agree with them. I think the captains are doing a good job at making their votes for that. So just keep it up and keep it fair. And vote for your team if you think you're the best. Do what you got to do.
And wrap it up, Dylan, 1 through 8. You did move up a spot. You said you wanted to see the off constant move up in the rankings. You did get a little bit more respect, moving from 8 to 7. So big week for you guys to see if you can move up any more. Anything you want to add?
Yeah, it's nice to see us away from the bottom spot for once. First time in, I think, 3 years or something like that I'm not looking at myself at the bottom. So, well, I'm talking about BWBL too, Dave.
Wow.
So,
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay. 1 through 3, really for me it was a toss-up. Any one of those 3 teams could have been first place. Then 4 through 7, again, that's another toss-up. I think every single team this year, every single team in those 4 through 7 spots are like that close. That 1 week batters could be playing like a number 4 team, and then another week they can be playing like they're at the bottom of the board, and vice versa through the other teams as well. So voting this year has been very difficult, and and I think the captain polls shows that.
Dylan, it takes me 5 seconds to vote.
I know it does.
It is a very competitive league, if that's what you mean.
Absolutely, it is. That's what I mean. Like, 1 week off constantly can be a 2-1 team, and then this weekend we'll lose 6 straight. So, again, everything is interchangeable. I feel like
2-1.
we won 2 games
Last
last
week.
weekend.
2-1.
My.
Oh, the light bulb went off, Dave.
I was like, who did you play? The Make-A-Wish team?
It fucking felt like it, yeah.
I think the only thing you change in this captain's poll is probably giving off constantly a little bit more respect and moving them up to 6 over the master batters. I feel like the master batters are on a decline, and then with them not having a full roster this week when they have a doubleheader, it's definitely going to not help their chances with a playoff push. So
Right, off constantly at 6. What are you talking about?
you're sitting at 7, so I'm saying if
Yeah.
you should be moved to 6 and they should be moved to 7.
Oh, I see. Okay. You confused me. I'm slow.
It's okay. We're fine. All right. Anything else we want to add on the captain's pool before we jump into a little bit of Q&A with the guest?
No, I'm done. I actually have to get going. So good weekend, guys. Dave, Steve, Smalls. Good to see you guys, and I'll see you guys on Saturday.
Saturday.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Dylan.
Bye-bye.
You know.
All right. We'll move on. Steve Homza. Reigning MVP. How does it feel to come back into season 2 with the expectations set so high for the Willies roster this year?
Coming back, losing the championship, it really sucked. But coming back with the captain of the year, he absolutely murdered the draft, in my opinion. Got the pieces that we needed. It takes a lot off of me. Last year, I was more so of a home run or bust because if I got on base, then I just had to keep on running, and I got tired. So this year, I can, like I said before, my job in the leadoff spot, I like to just get on base. And, we got guys like JJ and Dave and Josh and Rob and Louis at the bottom of the order getting on base for me when I need to. It makes my job a lot easier. It takes a lot of stress off of me. I'm pretty upset with last week with my performance because I can't get most improved anymore. But, yeah, I'm looking forward to the last 2 weekends here and then nice little playoff push.
Well said. Well said. Dave, I actually have a question for you.
Okay.
So with Robbie McClay not making it this past weekend, he's sitting at 6 games played. He's going to need to show up the last 2 weeks of the season in order to make playoffs, unless you're going to put him through a playoff exemption vote. Any insight as to if Robbie will make it this weekend?
I'm not saying anything, but all I'm telling you is that his attendance will be heating up. Nothing to worry about.
Okay.
No vote will be necessary. All right, we're fine.
I'm not going to say anything, but a vote won't be necessary. Essentially answered my question. Thank you, Dave Bridgedo. All right, Homza, we asked this to all the guests. I'm sure you're aware of this by now. You have to make a lineup of 5 hitters and 2 pitchers to go 21-0 in Core 4 style format. Who do you got?
All right. Well, for this team, I'm not going to include myself. I'm going to pretend like I'm a manager here. Pitchers, I'm going to go with Josh Quick and Gerald. Those will be my 2 pitchers. I feel like both of them do a very nice job. Now, they might go over the gentleman's agreement of the speed a couple times, but that's kind of why I chose them a little bit. They keep the ball low. They throw the ball firmly. I like the way that they throw. 5 hitters. Now, a lot of these have not been named before. It's just guys that I really like watching swing the bat. One is Joe Dewar. I really think that he does a great job on both sides of the plate, hitting the ball. Another one is Dan Flaherty. After seeing what he did this past week, I would take him in a 5-man lineup no matter what. I'm not going to name any more Willies for these top, or I might in case I run out, because my third one is going to be Ryan Hart. I saw him hit 1 week and my jaw dropped. Every single ball that he hit was either a knuckleball or the ball just kept flying into the softball field. I'm going to have to go with Brett Kalady for my fourth hitter. And then for my fifth hitter, I'm going to have to go with my guy, Mark Bellis. That Mark Bellis, if you just put a wiffle ball bat in his hands, you put him out in the field, he's making the play, he's putting the ball in play, and he's doing everything that you ask for. So those are five guys I feel like haven't been really talked about much, other than maybe the Kalady and Gerald as a pitcher. But I wanted to make it a little bit different and get a different side of things.
No, that's honestly probably one of the better lineups that one of our guests have put together. And that's not even including you, because a lot of the guests did include themselves. So even if you were to include yourself into that lineup, it would just make it even 10 times better. So I personally think that's one of the better lineups we've seen. Dave, anything you want to add on that?
I don't think that team's going 21-0.
Oh no! Wow.
I think they're going. I think they're maybe going 15-6. Unfortunately,
I don't think
not too high on that.
I don't think the pitching. I think it would be the pitching that would stop it from going 21-0.
That, yeah. And Dewar, we said Dewar is not pitching; he's a hitter, so it's a good team, but maybe 16-5.
It's valid. That's valid. Like I said, the only thing that I think that would set that team's back is Gerald, pitching, because it hasn't been as good as of late. But it definitely is probably one of the better lineups put together. All right, Steve. So you're one of the founding members that played in the BWBL NWLA tournament with the league. We did put in an application to go back to NWLA. So, from your remembrance, what did you like about the NWLA tournament when you went down?
The competitive spirit. I was fortunate enough to. I played I think in a regional when it was in when it was at our field, and that was really intense because we weren't the best group at that time, but we qualified, and then I wasn't able to go down to nationals. But then I was selected the 1 year, and then I couldn't go because of baseball, and I was really looking forward to that team. But the year that Bellis was the coach, and we went down to Michigan on a long ride, I just really enjoyed like there's people that I talk to, and I'm like, oh, I play like competitive wiffle ball, and they like laugh at me, and I'm like, well, I really like it, like it's really competitive. And then when you go to like Michigan, and these guys take it way more serious than I do or we do, I'm like, wow, I really enjoy watching this and watching just all of it. So I would say the competitive spirit around the whole tournament. I do I I do like unscuffed, and I do like yellow bat because you have to be. It's not like you can scuff the ball a certain way of how you throw, and it's not like you're using a big